mean, we'd love it. Absolutely, we'd eat it up. I think that the decision really would rest with Major League Baseball in the US.
Once they see a market here.
Yes, and there is a market, as you say, for perceived American sports, for American football, for ice hockey, for basketball. They've been played over here. I think one of the challenges is facilities, is finding a suitable field that's set up in a way that can be played. If you go a long way back, baseball was played at Lord's. There's been practice and exhibition. Major League stars have been brought over, played at the Oval. And also in Old Trafford.
The Oval traditionally was used for all manner of sporting events, but it hasn't, years ago used for cup finals, and I think they play Aussie rules there once a year as well. So the Oval's quite flexible. Maybe I'm sure one of these days they'll come up with that. We're also joined on the line by Neil Warne from the London Mets. If you guys want to put your headphones on, you'll be able to hear what he's got to say. Good evening, Neil.
Hello, you all right?
Yeah, very good. Thanks for joining us. Now, you are the reigning National Baseball League champions.
Indeed, yeah, 2 years running. Yep.
It says here the Manchester United of British baseball. There might be some there's some faces being pulled here in the studio. You'll be pleased to hear.
I would prefer to be the Arsenal of British baseball, but
I agree with that, Neil.
I can see where this is going. We have got the British National Baseball League coming up, and the London Mets are involved, the Richmond Flames, the Hart Falcons, and the Bracknell Blazers. So there's quite a some of the people in this room, and indeed yourself on the phone, all be up against each other. Neil, could you first of all tell us a little about the finals coming up and the finalists, and what it all involves?
Okay. This year, the National Baseball League finals are in Croydon. They're up at the end of August, and we have the 4 teams with, as you said, Bracknell, Richmond, Herts, and London Mets from Finsbury Park. I think this year it'll be a tighter and more exciting competition than it has been for the last couple of years. The last couple of years we've run away with it. This year is a bit more of a rebuilding year for us. Although we are on the brink of taking the league championship this year, it's been a closer season than we've seen for a couple of years, and it's been very exciting.
Guys, Mark and John, who are here, you're going to be involved as well. Would you share that assessment? Because I suppose the tighter the big finals are, the easier it is to market to various people, get people to come along.
Absolutely. Neil, you'll say yourself that your team has been the strongest the last couple of years, maybe. But that gap has been brought back this season, I think, for a number of reasons. And that has to be a plus, because then it'll be a more exciting game and maybe something that will attract more people.
Well, Neil, why have you done so well the last couple of years? What is it that has swung the balance your way in the last few years?
Well, we've been able to recruit the best players. We have a very strong club organisation. We have a very big youth programme, and being the only club in central London, there's some cachet there. We're also kind of handy for players to travel to training after work and that sort of thing. And I think it's kind of snowballed. The first year we ran a National League team, everyone wrote us off, and we came in and stormed through and took the national championship in our first year. And that, success breeds success. So that in the 2008 season, it was much easier for us to recruit players, and we had players coming to us to play. This year it's slightly different because the Great Britain team is in the World Cup. We've lost a lot of players this year who've gone to play in European leagues where the level of competition, because they're semi-pro or professional, is that little bit higher. We've lost a number of players who've gone to kind of hone themselves ready for the World Cup, but then still because we had a strong club organisation with a AAA team, which is the league just below National League. We were able to bring a number of AAA players up this year. So and it took us a little while to get there, but we're now a very competitive team, and are back at the top of the league again. So there's the benefit there of being in central London, I think, is a big plus, you know.
Absolutely. Neil, thank you. David, who's from the Essex Arrows, you were itching to say something there, actually, David.
No. It's just when Neil said, you know, we've got the best players. You know, we're 21 games unbeaten this season. We're in the AAA division.
You're the division below the big four, as it were.
Yeah, and you know, we look forward to competing against London next season to see who's got the best players in the league. And I'm sure London got some fantastic players, like all the teams in the National League. But if there was an all-star team, there would definitely be players from the Essex Arrows in that team, without a doubt.
It certainly it's a competitive arena, as you said. You've got the different layers of the tournaments, but it's not the sort of sport, it seems to me, where people are quite happy just sort of playing in their own league. You know, everyone wants to get on, and everyone's looking at the next level up and thinking to themselves, you know, we can get there.
Well, that's the great thing about it, is that it is very competitive. I mean, we're all friends, you know, outside. You know, once we get on the field, there's a lot of screaming and shouting that goes on, and we're very, very competitive. But that makes players want to play better, and especially when the young kids come and watch us play, you know, they want to be all part of that, and you know, they want to come into the sport even more so.
Neil, are you still there?
Oh yes, yeah.
Just for that one final thing about being in the centre of London, is it right you play in Finsbury Park?
In Finsbury Park, yes, we have our own field essentially in Finsbury Park. One full-size diamond and 2 youth diamonds, and also we have a lot of softball there, which is the kind of more recreational side of baseball.
Great stuff. Thank you very much for joining us, Neil Warren, the president of the London Mets Baseball Club. Back to my guests in the studio, actually. I was going to ask you, the cricket's been clobbered by the weather, and has been for the last few years. The weather's been terrible in the summer. Do you suffer from the same? Can you play it indoor, or can you play softball? You know, or I mean, I can't imagine how it would work actually. But you must suffer from the same difficult. Or can you play in the rain?
Yes. Until it rains like it was earlier on.
I was going to say, because earlier today you probably got caught in it. You can't play. But if it's spitting, I mean, I suppose players still slip, don't they? That's the key thing on the grass.
Well, they can. The idea is to wear shoes with... they're very similar to football boots, but the Americans call them cleats, and they're kind of these, like the blades, but you can use these sort of metal blades, which give you grip both in the dry and in the wet. And it's really down to the umpire at the game. And a lot of them, are particularly at the higher level, the NBL, they have to be qualified to a certain level. And it's of paramount importance to make sure that the players are playing safe. So if the umpire were to decree that the weather was too bad, then he would stop the game. It might be just a brief interlude. It might be for the rest of the day.
What about the light? Is that as big an issue as it is in cricket? Do your umpires have light meters and that sort of thing? Or is that just... cricketing nonsense.
Get on and play.
The ball's bigger, I suppose.
No, but the ball's about the same size.
I suppose it would be. I suppose softball's a bit bigger, but no, you're right. Yeah, baseball is absolutely. Yeah, no. That
usually starts out white as well, but by the end of the day, it might be less than white.
When you see Major League Baseball, it's always a white ball because they've got an endless supply. But
really?
They're very expensive, and we can't go to that level. So you do find, like John says, that they gradually turn brownish, greenish colour.
Do you lose many balls?
Oh yeah,
loads.
Yeah.
Really?
Loads, yeah.
It depends upon where your ground is. I don't know about Essex's ground.
People's back gardens must be so littered with these things.
There are certain grounds across the country that are just prone to it, where there are just areas behind the field when you knock a ball in there, you just think, forget it, done.
One club used to back onto a cemetery. So the old Guildford ground used to back onto a cemetery.
Yeah, no one's going in there.
That's one way of doing it.